You are almost through. If you keep moving forward, you should reach a town. It's very quiet, but do not be fooled. It's filled to the brim with spirits, so try to sneak around them. Beyond that, you're on your own. Horror is a genre that's dear to my heart. Be it the push through hell of survival horror like Dead Space or Resident Evil, or the helpless struggle of a lone individual trying to escape a grisly fate like Amnesia or Evil Loophole. There is something fundamentally fun about these games that always leave me wanting for more. The tension and the incredible satisfaction of managing to stay calm and triumph despite the odds. There's also something to be said about the aesthetics. From the eerie corridors of Imuro Mansion to the foggy streets of Silent Hill, horror games are great at making you feel claustrophobic and tense in memorable, haunting locations. For a few years now, I've been looking for a game that will capture a certain feeling, a certain something that I just couldn't quite get anywhere else, and this game is Yomawari, Night Alone. Good evening, I am Aleph, your host for tonight. And while Misa tries to find her way through the streets of this quaint little town, allow me to take you on a journey of your own. Yomawari Night Alone is a game that was developed and published by Nipponichi Software, a studio usually known for RPGs such as the Disgaea series, and a plethora of other series that were localized outside of Japan through their branch a lot of people might be most familiar with, NIS America, the Atelier series, Artonelico, Ys. Hell, if you've got any interest in JRPGs outside of Final Fantasy and Dragon Quest, there's a pretty good chance you've played a game localized by these guys. So why does a company mostly known for JRPGs would suddenly produce an horror game? Well, according to an interview with Yu Mizokami, director and designer of the game, the head office of Nipponichi Software has something they call a challenge plan where basically any of the employees can present a game idea and if it gets picked, they get to make that game, which is honestly a cool idea. More companies should do stuff like that, gives the employees a chance to make their ideas a reality. Now I'll admit, finding things about Yu Mizokami is proving to be difficult. From what I've found, she joined Nipponichi Software around 2013 and worked as a CG and character designer for Disgaea 4, Disgaea 5 and worked on the Firefly Diary before starting her own project in 2014, Yomawari Night Alone, which then released in October of 2015 in Japan on the PS Vita and a year later in the rest of the world. It also got a Steam release, which is the platform we played this game on. The game was made with only the Japanese audience in mind, and Mizokami didn't expect NIS America to be interested in localizing the game. She was nervous about it, but I think one of the reasons this game is the way it does might be for that exact reason. It was meant for a specific audience, and thus is different from what we see in the West. I'd love to learn more about this lady, but beyond a single interview, I just can't find anything. Not even a picture. Still, she did a good job with Yomawari, and I'll definitely be on the lookout for future games she might direct beyond the Yomawari series. Anyway, with all that stuff out of the way, what exactly is Yomawari? Yomawari Night Alone is an isometric survival horror game where you play as a Japanese young girl. What's her name? Where is she from? Don't know. Doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of the story either. The first thing you'll notice when you start this game is the art style. It is absolutely gorgeous and makes for a fantastic contrast with the horror aspects of the game. You'll see what I mean once we get into the thick of it. The game starts with you walking your dog, Poro. Look at him, he's so cute! Such a good dog. You reach a mysterious, foggy tunnel that's a bit too scary for our young heroine to go through, who decides it's time to go home. Ensues a quick tutorial to teach you the basics of the game, how to move, how to sprint, and how to tiptoe. You have a stamina gauge that depletes when you sprint. Movement is simple and responsive, making for a very pleasant time controlling your character. After you get off the road, the game will then teach you about items. To pick something up, get close to the little spark on the ground and interact with it. Pick up a rock, one of the game's consumables, select it, throw it and... Yeah, so this game gets dark really quick. I will admit that during my first playthrough I was absolutely not expecting for this to happen and got quite surprised to see Poro just die like that. Anyway, by the time you've recovered from your shock, our heroine will have made it back home without Poro. Here, you'll meet your big sister, simply called Sis in the game. What's her actual name? Don't know. You'll find it to be a recurring theme in this game. Characters aren't named because it's irrelevant. These girls could be anyone, and it does help set the tone of the game quite a bit better. Seeing as Poro is nowhere to be seen, Sis decides to go and find him herself, since you're too scared to tell her what happened. And no matter if you tell her not to go out in the dark alone, your sister goes anyway because Poro can't be that far away. Right? Since she takes a while to come back, you decide to go and look for your sister, and now, finally, you're in the game proper. Alone in a dark, small Japanese town, with only lampposts as your source of light. And so, time to explore. No music, just the ambient sound of your footsteps, the wind, crickets, and the occasional buzzing of a vending machine. Very few games actually make the choice of having so little music in them, and in the context of Yomawari, I like it. A lot. It gives you that feeling of actually exploring a small town at night. You're on your own and everyone is sleeping. It gives a certain sense of loneliness to the scene that is very relaxing to me. And perhaps a bit anxiety-inducing to some. Yeah, so about that, it is difficult for games to actually scare me. The price to pay for liking horror games a lot and having nerves still. But hey, I still enjoy them thoroughly, so sue me. Still, it's a choice that works wonderfully with the tone of the game. It doesn't need tense music to make you feel anxious, only what you see, and the sounds you hear. There is a grand total of 1 OST in the entire game, and it's during the credits, so get used to this feeling of loneliness in the dark. After looking around town for a bit, you'll suddenly hear your character's heartbeat and encounter your very first spirit. A whispering shadow being that gives you a single warning before coming for you. And the closer you get to it, the louder your heartbeat. Got it? Heartbeat means enemy nearby. It's only visible while in the light, but this guy is pretty slow and we need to go this way to find Sis. Just run past him, what is he gonna do? As you do run past him, you'll quickly notice that if you run near an enemy, your stamina bar drains tremendously faster than if you're running through empty streets. So to manage your sprints well, if you're out and something is chasing you, you're in trouble. Push forward and eventually you'll reach a vacant lot, where you'll find your sister. However, she seems panicked about something and pushes you into a bush to teach you the last core mechanic of the game, hiding. Hide inside the bush, close your eyes, and do not open them. And once you exit the bush, you're all alone once again. Where did Sis go? Perhaps she went home already. But if she is, then why is her flashlight left there on the ground? You pick it up, turn it on and... What is that? What the fuck is that? It's at about this point I realized this game was gonna be awesome. Since the game was made with only a Japanese audience in mind, we get to see monsters and spirits we would rarely see as such in other video games, and I'll be completely honest, I love it to bits. The monsters in this game look so bizarre and exotic compared to the ones you can find in most horror games. It's partly why I love Japanese horror so much. Yokais can be super varied and aren't really something you see that often in horror games. Usually it's more about zombies and body horror, which is final, but yeah, this is a nice change of scenery. And don't tell me Resident Evil and Silent Hill are Japanese horror. They're not. They're Western horror done by Japanese people, which is a different beast altogether. I absolutely love all the monsters in this game, except for one. Oh, don't worry, I'll get to you later, buddy. For now though, it's time to scram and make it back home, where you discover, as expected, that your sister is nowhere to be seen. And thus concludes the tutorial and first chapter of the game. Since Sis hasn't come back yet, it might be a good idea to get out there and look both for her and Poro, which is pretty much the time when the map opens up and you're allowed to roam more or less freely around town and try to discover what happened to Poro and Sis. No directions given, you're on your own to explore the streets and find your way around. And so, well, I started exploring. Not really much else to do now, is there? But truth be told, I do enjoy the way the game doesn't give you quest markers or anything, instead encouraging you to go into the darkness and explore. Find your way around, see the beauty of the night town. It's just nice, relaxing even, if you forget about the constant threat of spirits around the streets. You can't explore the entirety of town just yet, but more areas will unlock as we get through the story. You also quickly realize that there are collectibles around town. Random items with no real purpose beyond the pleasure of collecting them, which I can appreciate, gives a bit of story to the places you explore. Eventually, you'll make your way to the road near your home where... Oh hey! A pupper! Let's follow him! I went to school and the front gate is closed. No worries, we can just sneak in from the back. Now where's that cute pupper? Is it here? No, that's just Sis's shoe. Wait, Sis's shoe? Is she... Okay, so that duck is neither Poro nor a regular pupper, and it's got our sister's shoe, so time to find a way to get it back. I run around the school ground for a bit, get to the dump, and die for the first time. Fortunately, it seems as though you don't lose any progress when you die, so that's nice. I realize I haven't talked about the Jesus statues yet, but simply put, those are your checkpoints. Give a coin to one and you respawn there until you get back home. Make sure to talk to all of them, even if you're not giving an offering. There are also fast travel locations, which is really helpful to get around town quickly since the protagonist isn't the quickest little girl in the world. Pick up the chicken coop's key at the dump, then the pool key at the coop, and once I get to the pool, Jesus, those are some interesting goldfishes? I don't like them, let's empty the pool. Oh god, they're still here! I pick up 2 collectibles in the pool, and from there I do get a bit lost, and so I go back to exploring the town. I find the shovel in the park near home, then head back home and realize that some of the collectibles I picked up do appear in my room. That's adorable. Now I really want to collect everything. Keep an eye on the road, folks. After getting lost for a bit longer, I head back to the pool and then find a wet bone in one of the drains, which I should have checked earlier. But for my defense, there are other drains and those were empty, so I didn't think of checking them all. Anyway, remember that weird pupper from earlier? Just give him that bone, then head to the incinerator and get your sister's shoe back. And thus ends chapter 2. Once you reach chapter 3, you do get an actual place to go check out, the rice fields north of town. Before that though, I mess around for a bit longer, exploring the new area before heading to my destination. I find the pond and hello there! Damn, you look awesome! Okay, that's enough exploring, back on track. The train passes and a new spirit appears, some girl in white. She's not here to block your path. Yet. So push forward to the rice fields. Get to the field proper and the bridge has been destroyed. Should find something to get past. There should be something around. Jesus fuck! Okay, good one. Credit where credit is due, I was not expecting that. It's so rare games actually use the foreground for that kind of stuff and... yeah, it's good. Find the plank, get to the other side of the fields and meet the ghost girl again. This time she's fairly aggressive. I try and grab the items and I die. Welp! I come back pretty much immediately and pick up the broken necklace. Now while I try and dodge this girl's attacks, you might be wondering, who is that grudge-looking girl and what does she have against me? Well, looking at the bulletin boards around the rice fields, you'll find notes about a girl who disappeared and whose body was never discovered. Several clues point to the fact she might have been killed, like a broken fingernail, the broken necklace and the word murder scribbled behind one of the bulletin boards. It is likely this lady is an Onryo, the spirit of someone who was violently murdered and felt intense hatred and anger from it. And if you were pushed off a cliff and forgotten, yeah, chances are you'd be pretty mad too. Still, getting chased by this angry spirit is a pretty fun dance. Don't panic, run away after she rushes you, dodge to the side if she tries to puke on you. Eventually, you'll find her body at the foot of the cliff. Giving her the broken necklace calms her, and she lets you live peacefully after you pay her last respects. Finally appeasing the Onryo after who knows how long she's been here, if just partly. Sure, we didn't get to find anything about where Sis went, but hey, at least we did something right. Well, the rice fields were a fluke. Time to head back into town, walk around and hopefully find some clues on where to go next. Honestly, I'm repeating myself, but I just love walking around this town. It's so quiet and relaxing, it reminds me of... Okay, so it's something I haven't touched on yet, but good lord is there a large variety of spirits in this town. Which is awesome, it keeps things fresh and you never really know what to expect, with some spirits being fairly common whereas some others are unique, some hostile, some ignoring you unless provoked and some just... here. Heck, according to the wiki I missed a couple of them and I 100%ed this game. It was wholly unnecessary to put in so many different spirits, including some you can absolutely miss, but I absolutely love it. After screwing around for a bit longer I finally find... Poro! Well, time to chase after him. Look at this good boy, he opens the path to downtown for us! Which means that now, pretty much the entire map is open. Which is also the perfect time to put a big spoiler warning here, in my opinion, because from here on out, we're getting into the actual story of the game. Downtown area got a shrine, a commercial area that's all empty, and I really like it. It's a normal, everyday location where you'd expect a lot of activity, but right now it's night, and so it's completely abandoned. Empty, silent, eerie. Liminal spaces in horror games aren't too uncommon, but usually they're dressed up to be nerve-wracking, with something chasing you. But here there's... nothing. Just you, your thoughts, and the sound of your footsteps. It is just like that one game. What was it again? Oh hey, here's Poro. Come back here, you little rascal. I follow Poro through town until I reach the woods, yet another new, cool area. Oh, well that doesn't bode well. In there, you'll meet a spirit type that is thankfully only present in this area, the stun spirits. They're fairly easy to deal with if you're brave, just turn off your flashlights. They hate light and will only kill you if you flash them in the face. Really, this section is only as difficult as you're reluctant to turn your flashlight off. Eventually, you'll reach a wall of the stun guys that you can't get through, so you'll have to find another way around. Instead, you'll find another consumable item, the matches. I realize I haven't talked about the consumables all that much, but that's kind of because I barely even use them. You can throw stones to draw the attention of spirits, but you can't throw that far and overall it felt more like a liability than an actual useful item. And the animal feed is useless except to get 2 achievements. The matches are useful though, since the stun guys will bum rush them and open the path forward. And finally, you'll reach the temple. Now just to find a Jesus statue that works and... Fuck. Okay, so go left when you enter the temple to grab the Jesus statue, not right. New challenge, stun heads and regular spirits you can't see without the light. It's a nice mix-up, although it's still fairly easy because the stun heads aren't that numerous in the temple and you can hear the spirits coming. I did tell you to keep an eye on the road. Eventually, you'll reach the end of the path and find Poro, laying on the ground, inert. And after a few pointless attempts at waking him up, the protagonist has to realize the truth. Poro will not wake up, Poro will not come home. Our little heroine decides to build him a little sepulture, to pay her last respects to poor Poro. She leaves a flower on his tomb, and then leaves. And once again, she's all alone. It's at this point that I realized what this game reminded me of. Fragile Dreams, Feral Ruins of the Moon. A game that likely few of you would have ever heard about, if at all. An hidden gem on the Wii where you play as Seto, a young man who heads out into a world long dead to find other survivors after the death of the old man he lived with. And thus starts your journey. This game gave me a certain love for the aesthetic of ruins, as I walked through the end of the world trying to uncover its stories with nothing but my thoughts. And honestly, Yomawari reminds me of Fragile Dreams in a lot of ways. Both of them take you through a journey where spirits will impede your progress, both have very little music, leaving the sounds around you to set the tone of the game, both have really pretty visuals, both are beautiful tales of loneliness and mortality in familiar places. I could go on and on about this game, but if I did, this video would last a lot longer. Maybe I'll come back to Fragile Dreams in the near future for a proper review. For now, back to Yomawari. It's time to head into... Alright, so we're back home. We found Poro and he's not coming back with us. Now, what? Guess I'll just go and explore downtown a bit more. Maybe I'll find where Sis went. I don't remember these guys blocking access to the commercial district. Maybe they're hiding some sort of clue. Maybe if I could find a path inside. There we go. Oh, hand spirits, huh? Wait, didn't I see you during... Where are they stealing salt? Bro, stop! It's making more spirits appear and... The phone is ringing. The phone is ringing? Wait, what the fuck? I did not see that one coming. I did not see that one coming at all! I did not expect this game to suddenly pull me into the spirit realm. This is exactly what I was talking about, taking a familiar location and making it just not right. This isn't your downtown anymore. It's this, guys. It's eerie, alien. It makes it clear from the get-go, you are not welcome here. And I'm trapped in this place. I can go home via the map. If I die, I respawn here. This dance, I love it. Besides, look at this. The centipede coils around the entire area. If you try to leave, you can't. Its body is blocking you off. It's one of the most memorable set pieces in the entire game. Now at first glance, it might seem as though the paths where the centipede attacks are supposed to be blocked off. But you can just dodge him and keep going this way. He won't attack that spot a second time. Once you make it to the shrine northwest of the commercial district, you'll meet with your centipede friend again, about to kill our poor protagonist, but... Our plating seems to work and he lets us go, on the condition that we help him out a little bit in the real world. Once we get back to regular downtown, we find some salt in our hand. Remember those salt piles the hand spirits destroyed? Yes, so now our job is to dodge the hungry spirits and put salt back where it should be to ward them off. You'll quickly realize that from the shrine it's impossible to get anywhere. You can't outrun these guys. However, if you remember, these guys are in the real world, not the spirit world. There, that'll make it easier to walk around, and since we're friends with the centipede, he's not even gonna attack us! Find your way around downtown, shifting through the two worlds by using the telephone booth scattered around the area, and once the final pile of salt is placed, all the angry spirits will disappear. When you make it back to the shrine, the centipede will reward you with a charm, and some salt as a consumable. Now the charm mostly means this guy is a local deity, so we just did an odd job for a kami. That's cool. As for the salt, I should probably have used it a tad more because once you throw it, it will slow spirits down to a crawl if they try and get through it. Pretty useful, but since I ended up barely using consumables anyway. Okay, so once again we did good, but still no trace of Sis anywhere. Ugh! Well, there's still that factory southeast of downtown, so maybe we'll find something. It's a long trek, but I already... What? Fuck the factory. With that out of the way, seems like our nightly excursions have caught the attention of a spirit that doesn't particularly seem happy with our little protagonist going out at night. So we got kidnapped, brought to the abandoned factory, and of course the front gate is locked. Yeah, so I think this might be our kidnapper. Wonderful. Wonderful! No, it's fine, really! I wanted to be chased by a Shogot anyway. So now while we look for a key or a way out, this guy, fittingly called Meat, is gonna appear every once in a while to chase us down. Now I don't hate the idea behind that. It's an horror game. Fleeing from monsters is what we've been doing until now, but the thing is...
There's way too many spirits here.
Like, Jesus Christ, I think the density of spirits in this area might be a bit excessive. And that's without counting this shackle fuck appearing out of nowhere. Meat is fast, unfairly so. I died over and over and over again to this guy, especially in this part here. You need to get past Meat to grab a key down there and it sucks. Not just because Meat is hard to dodge because it's super fat. Not just because the trek back takes a good 30 seconds that add up every time. Not just because if you're careless, which you end up being after dying a few times, you'll also get killed by the other spirits in the area.
But also because he's not giving up once you dodge him.
And you have to run to where he came from. In Insight, I should probably have used the salt to slow his fat ass down, but as I say, Insight is 2020. Eventually, I managed to run past Meat long enough to grab the key and then die. Whatever, I keep the items I pick up on death. I win. Oh hey, a collectible in a dead end. Let's grab it with... God damn it. Anyway, the key says chimney, so let's head there, I guess. Let's make sure we grab all the collectibles so we never have to come back here again and... Oh, give me a break! Okay, fine, I'll just hurry along and... Fuck off! Whatever, we're getting close to the chimney, just gotta... Ugh. Okay, thankfully, from this point on, it's just a cutscene. Although I didn't know that at the time. And since we already have the key, no need to run back and we can press forward. Doesn't mean it's not annoying to see his ugly mug every 20 seconds! Whatever, got the front gate key, time to get the hell out of here. Meat chases us down one last time, but we managed to get out of dodge in time, and Meat falls to its death, impaling itself on a broken structural beam. And as we go down to witness the final twitches of our tormentor, something stirs in the shadows. Ant spirits skittering about, leaving behind an old charm, Sis's charm. Did the ant spirits have something to do with our disappearance? As we escape the factory, we are left with nothing but questions as we reach Chapter 7. Well, time to head back out. Unfortunately, it seems one of those kidnapper spirits found its way inside our home, but it's not hostile. It lets us escape, and then disappears, leaving behind a note telling us the location of our sister, the other side of the tunnel. This is it, the final chapter, ending where our story began. We couldn't bring Poro back, but perhaps it is not too late for our sister. You know, since this is the last time we'll be free to roam around town before the ending, this might be a good time as any to collect all the collectibles we missed. Remember those? You might have seen us collect some left and right throughout the video, although we still got several missing from our inventory. I'm sure it'll go fine, this shouldn't take too long, we'll be back shortly. That wasn't fine. That wasn't fine at all! Since I thought it'd be a lot of backtracking, I didn't record much of the collecting process. And thank God I was using a guide, because otherwise I would have never understood how to get some of these collectibles. Remember Hanako? And that phone we saw on the ground? Yeah, those are tied to collectibles. Oh yeah, did I mention that some of those are tied to RNG? Yeah, so the fun one is one of those. And even if you get the luck, if you didn't get Hanako's collectible first, you're gonna die anyway. There's one notably related to the mailbox in front of your house. Go ahead, do it. RNG for collectibles is fun. And the worst part about this? You can't even get all the collectibles before finishing the game. You'll be able to get everything after we're done there, so just ignore the collectibles. Thankfully, none of them are time sensitive. Don't use a guide to avoid spoilers, and... this is it. The final stretch before we find our sister. This ends tonight, one way or another. Sis comes home, or neither of us does. Since we collected our charm, we are now able to activate the small shrine in the tunnel, clearing the fog to let us push forward and... You? Again? Are you taking the piss? At least the shrine seems to keep it at bay, so let's hurry up. Well, that's awkward. You know what, I think we'll just take our leave. Have fun, you two. As we reach the other side of the tunnel, we arrive at a small clearing. It's... peaceful. There's a Jesus statue here, but we can fast travel from that one. The only way out is through, so... let's get going. Beyond that clearing is a torii gate, with a path to a shrine up in the mountain. Whatever is holding Sis captive, it's not gonna let you climb easily. But you know how to ward these spirits off. Even if she's far away, your big sister is still your big sister, and her charm shall protect you when she cannot. The shrines will keep them away. Keep climbing. Keep climbing. No matter how many of them comes at you, no matter how big they are, you will not falter. Sis is coming on with you, and no amount of evil spirits will stop you. Finally, as you reach the shrine, here she is, your sister, unconscious at the end of the road. But it's not gonna let you live that easily. You made it all the way here, sure, but do you have what it takes to bring her back? Finally, you see it, the face of your tormentor, the one who stole your sister away from you, the one who lured you with that rock and ultimately brought Poro to his untimely demise, the god of this mountain where you were never supposed to be. Who are you in comparison? You're just a little girl who'll bring her big sister home. Dodge, Run. Hide if you need to. At the end of the day, a spirit is still a spirit. And once you've activated all of the shrines, he too shall relent. And that's it. You've won. This is safe, if dazed. Now you can go home. You can both make it home. You're not gonna be alone anymore. But the mountain spirit was pushed back, not vanquished. And for your insolence, did you really think you'd get away that easily? Dodge. Run. Hide all you want. At the end of the day, the night shall always claim its due. And that was Yomawari Night Alone, a beautiful, bittersweet tale of a little girl braving the darkness to save her big sister. A tale of loneliness, a tale of mortality, a tale of determination, a tale of hope. I cannot overstate how much I love this little adventure, running through this quaint little town at night. Oftentimes, horror games focus on the gameplay more than they focus on the narrative. And if it can make for fantastic experiences, a story that leaves a lasting impression is what truly separates the great from the good. Something Yomawari did with flying colors. With its great aesthetic, fantastic atmosphere and bittersweet story, Yomawari deserves its spot as one of my favorite horror games of all times, and if I haven't touched the other two games yet, the first opus in this series certainly makes me want to devour them as I did Night Alone. With that comes the end of the road, and as we head back into the fog, we hope you enjoyed your time with us today. What do you think? Do you enjoy an horror game with a great emphasis on the story and its themes? Or would you rather have a game with a more basic storyline but solid mechanics? Let us know in the comments below. Tell us more about your favorite horror games. Perhaps you'll catch our frequency again, and I can take you through another journey of your own. We are Misa and Aleph. Thank you for tuning in. See you in the fog.